What's up, everybody? We've got a new episode today on AI and stormwater. I got the opportunity to speak at the Ohio Stormwater Conference this year on AI, and it's not coming; it's here. And so you may have heard of it, and if you haven't, you need to. And if you're not using it, you probably should. And the presentation was well received, standing room only, and I thought I'd just share it with you, all of you, as an episode. There are some visuals to it. You may want to check this out over on YouTube, but I feel like the information that we were able to get out to everybody in about 30 minutes was still worth go ahead and using the podcast platform for. So I think you can listen to it and still get a lot out of it. And I hope you enjoy listening to it as much as I enjoyed giving it, because it is the future is now. And if you're not in some way, shape, or form trying to figure out AI or embracing AI or using AI, you're really it'll be bigger. It'll be bigger than the iPhone. It'll be bigger than the internet. In fact, it'll be bigger than both of them combined. Absolutely. So here's the episode. Appreciate y'all. Hey there, welcome to the Stormwater World Podcast. Shout out to our sponsor, Bloxam & Company. They have a sediment and erosion control stormwater inlet filter that's made of coconut fiber. I've known Eric Pierman and the gang over there at Bloxam for years. We've done business with them in the past, and we continue to do business with them to this day. It's a great product, and it's very simple to install. It comes in pads or rolls that you can customize to just about any stormwater drain, and it's very simple to maintain as well. You get a great visual when driving your site because you don't have to stop and look down into the drain. You can literally just put this product over the top of the drain inlet, and then you're going to see the sediment on top of it. After a rain event, you can have someone sweep it off and get prepared for the next event. They also offer a free sample, so make sure to check them out. You can go to bloxam.com, that's BLOCKSOM.com, or you can contact them at 219-363-0206, or shoot Eric an email at eric.pierman, that's PEARMAN, at bloxam.com. He can answer any of your questions you may have, as well as let you know where the closest distributor is in your area. Thanks. Let's get back to the episode.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Teresa McGee. I'm the Vice President of the Ohio Stormwater Association. If you aren't a member or participate in that group, I highly encourage you to get involved. We have a booth out in the hallway, so there's my shameless plug for the Ohio Stormwater Association. You're here today for the AI and the stormwater industry. Practical applications available today. I'm really excited for this presentation. With Ty here, Ty Garmon is a LEED AP and has been in the stormwater industry since 2012. Now as the Chief Digital Strategy Nerd for Digital and the host of the Stormwater World Podcast, Ty supports companies in the stormwater industry, helping them increase their digital footprint through various forms of digital marketing. A self-proclaimed tech nerd, Ty has spent a lot of time researching and utilizing different forms of AI technology. When Ty is not in front of the computer, he enjoys, who are we kidding? He's always in front of his computer. With that, I will hand it over to Ty.
I do touch grass every now and then. So before we get started, I want to do something that I've been doing as I've been speaking, because I really appreciate, one, Tinker Creek let me have a microphone. They might not like it after I'm done, but it's cool that they let me do it. And Harry and his team. But what I'd like to do real quick is, we've got a lot of great educational tracks and we've got a great exhibit hall out there, but it really comes down to the people, right? And I'm an introvert by nature, so unless some jerk forces me to do it, guess who's that jerk today? But I won't necessarily meet the person that's next to me or in front of me or behind me. So let me reintroduce myself, my 30-minute elevator pitch. My name's Ty Garmon. I'm the co-founder of Digital Stormwater, and we put more stormwater people in front of your stormwater products and services. That's a 30-second introduction. Now, everybody, look to your left, look to your right. I am serious. We're going to do this. See somebody that you don't know, introduce yourself real quick, trade a business card. Let's go. We don't have a lot of time. 30 seconds. Shake a hand. Trade out a business card. Meet somebody new. All right. All right, 10 seconds. All right, fantastic. Back to me, as I like to say to my wife. All right, back to me. Back to me. No, seriously, back to me. So worst case, that out of this presentation, you just got to meet somebody new, hopefully, or you got to chit-chat with the person you already knew because you didn't want to do what I asked. That's fine. That's fine. So how many people use AI as a daily driver? Yes. Yeah. All right. All right. All right. Personal or work. Daily driver. You've replaced Google with ChatGPT or one of the other AIs out there. Anybody out there? Okay. Now, who has used AI? Who's at least tried AI? Some sort of AI. Okay. That's what I thought. Who out there has used AI and you got a result and you think that sucked and you never went back to it? Raise your hand. Feel free, right? Okay, fantastic. Well, I'm going to hopefully, by the time we're done today, encourage you and you'll see an opportunity to go back and give it another try. We've got a whole whopping about 20 minutes together, so we're not going to scratch the scratch of anything. I'm going to focus on hopefully providing you with some practical things that you can do today, if you wanted to improve how you view and are able to utilize AI. And then I do have, for all of those that are out there like, oh, what's out there specifically in stormwater and all that, we're just not going to be able to get down in some of those weeds. So this QR code will take you to this presentation where at the end, I've got a list of a bunch of AI softwares that I have not been able to personally vet that are being used in our industry. Does that make sense? All right. So, like I said, we're on a limited amount of time together, so we can't go into all the things that have changed just maybe in the last month or last week. I mean, the change is rapid. So again, if you used AI in the past, I encourage you to do it again. I'm going to focus on ChatGPT for this presentation. There's Claude out there. A lot of us in the stormwater industry, you probably tripped across Copilot because you're tied into the Microsoft ecosystem. I'm sorry for that. Just kidding, not really. And then or Gemini's out there. So there's all these other, and then we can go off into Dolly for images and Sora for video and in video. And there's so much that it kind of becomes a little bit of overwhelm. Would you guys agree with that? Those that are playing with AI. So what I want to do is just boil it down to the very beginning, and that's your prompting. How do you talk to the AI to make it do what you want, right? And so the quality of the answers you get from AI depends on the quality of the questions you ask. Isn't that an awesome politically correct way to say it's not the AI, it's you, right? But it's very, very true. So let's talk about prompting. All right. So what is a prompt? It's just a question or instruction or request. Clear prompt equals better answers, right? So here's an example. Help me with my inspection, right? That's trash. You're going to get nothing back, right? So what would be better was write a stormwater inspection summary for a site with sediment buildup at the inlet. That's still not great because that's one little spot of a full inspection. But would you agree that it's better than the first, right? Right, because I ran out of room in my cool graphic, so we couldn't go any further. So let's take that and think about that concept, okay? Because what AI is it's like a brand new employee. Who has ever hired somebody or been hired? Who's ever either hired somebody or been hired by somebody? Come on now, work with me, right? So if you were given or gave a big pile of paper to somebody on their very first day. Hello, I'm Ty. Nice to meet you. And I gave you a big pile of paper. And I said, welcome to the company. I'd like to have a report by the end of the day. And it's your first day. You'd crank that, I can tell, just by looking at it. You'd crank out a report. I'd have a report. But is there a good chance that report would suck? Yes or no? I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, that report's probably going to stink because it's your first day. So every time you interact with AI going forward, I want you to think about that. Am I being a good boss? Am I being a good educator? Am I teaching the AI what I need to get the best result from it? Does that make sense? All right. So why does that matter? It matters, and why you should care. Save time writing reports. So what would be an example of that? Review our last 5 annual reports, ... How cool it would be if you had a second set of eyes on your annual MS4 report, if those that are cities out here. Or review our construction inspection reports, or review our stormwater pollution prevention plan, right? Simplify regulatory language, summarize this PDF. How many people have to go and sit through meetings or conduct meetings with those that aren't necessarily in our industry and explain what we're trying to do from a regulatory standpoint, right? So what if you could upload these ridiculous PDFs and say, hey, could you summarize this and explain it back to me as a 5-year-old? Not to, but I mean, people don't know. We have to be able to get our message across so we can get our funding, right? Create outreach content. You know, Mariella, my wife, she spoke at the boot camp yesterday, and so there's so much content we have already. Why can't we just repurpose it? Just feed it in to ChatGPT. You can upload that information and be like, hey, this is something we're doing, or here's our city website, or this is some documentation. Can you create 5 social media posts so that we could use around our public education information? And it will spit it out. It will give you something to work with. Now, for those of you that have stubbed your toe against AI and you're like, yeah, but the information that comes back out, it's weird, it sucks, it doesn't sound like me. I've got something for you for that, right? We're gonna fix that today, and then you're gonna go crazy. Now, you may not carry it around in your pocket like I do, but you're gonna like it a lot more than you did when you first tried it. Clarify technical ideas, review this information, simplify it for my meeting. I kind of touched on that, kind of blended those together from 2 and 4 there. Create your own second brain. AI, for whatever examples we pull up here in a second, because I do have a co-presenter with me, it's only gonna be as bad as it is. Like, it's gonna only be this bad today. It's gonna be better tomorrow. Not a year from now. It keeps getting better and better and better. When this abstract got accepted, I mean, I can't begin to tell you the changes that have occurred just in the couple of months between they're like, hey, yeah, you can talk about AI, and then actually standing here in front of you guys today. Okay. One of those changes is now ChatGPT will recall all of your conversations. It doesn't. So in the past, when you talk to it and had a conversation with it, it would stay within context of that one conversation, then it would just forget it. Now it remembers everything. So it knows the more I've talked to it. In fact, we're going to probably have to get in a second account, because my wife and I use the same account. And so it knows we're in stormwater, but she's an engineer. I'm not. It thinks I'm an engineer sometimes when I talk to it, or that I like to crochet, or that I'm in the garden. It thinks that she's doing the 3D printing. It's, that's our fault that we confused it, right? Because we're using that one account, but it starts to really iterate and remember what you've got going on. And when I say so that's like, if it's remembering all those things, it really is like having that second brain. Does that make sense? So let's talk about some principles on prompting. All right. Principle. What's that? What happened? Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Principle number 1: add detail for better output. We kind of talked about that a minute ago. Like, just help me with my inspection report's not going to fly, right? You need to be a lot more detailed when you're talking to it. Just don't be afraid to. And I think it's. Has anybody ever done the peanut butter and jelly sandwich thing where you have to teach. Okay, so there's this little thing where they go and they say, okay, they have kids, and they're like, and I've got the bread and the jelly and all that stuff in there, and it's like, okay, tell me how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And it's hilarious because we as people make so many assumptions. You think, oh, well, we'll put the peanut butter on the bread. All right, I unscrew the cap of the peanut butter, and I put the peanut butter on the loaf of bread in the plastic. You with me now? You see how crazy that can get, as these kids are trying to tell the teacher how to make a peanut butter? Because we make a lot of assumptions. So less assumptions that you make as you're talking and setting up your prompts, the better results you're going to get on the back end. Does that make sense? Give context, give context. Add a role or an audience. So when you're prompting ChatGPT, tell it who it is. You're a stormwater expert. You're speaking to a group of engineers, or you're speaking to certain stakeholders. How to give it parameters of who it is and how to speak to it, and it will take that information and utilize it as into its response. All right. So give it a role. Give it a role. Tell it who it's talking to. What structure to use? What do you want your output to be? Do you want it to be an article that you're going to put up as a blog post? Do you want to be more of a technical writing that you also should probably cross-check against other AIs as well as your own human eyeballs, right? We don't have time. Yeah, we don't have time to get into some of the negative aspects. I'm aware they're out there. ChatGPT is delusional sometimes. It does have a deep research feature that is phenomenal now that I put right up against Perplexity. And so you can... you can check it against itself. If you see information that you don't agree with, you can say, hey, is this right? And it literally will go, oh, no. And if you're bored, you're trying to get work done, you go, oh, can you redo that, right? And you move on, or you can be like, why did you do that? And so ChatGPT wants just to provide you, it's like a people pleaser, right? It just wants to provide you with information, and sometimes you got to keep an eye on it, right? So it's not one of those situations where anything that you do in AI, it's like, oh, that's gold. You still need human interaction, okay? And then here's what I would consider one of the biggest things, because we talked about in the beginning, the better questions you ask, the better results you get, right? I'm old enough to remember when there wasn't a Google. Anybody else out there? Right? And when it came out, do you think you're a better Googler now than you were when it first came out? And let's talk Google. Let's talk Google pre-ad, right? Before the ads started skewing results. I'm pretty good at Googling stuff, right? But you had to get better at it by just doing it, right? Well, here's the great thing about ChatGPT. When I said ask a better question, you're like, oh, well, I don't have time for that. Just ask ChatGPT what the better question is. Yeah. At the end of your prompt, say, ask me any clarifying questions that you need in order to produce the result that I'm looking for. That will dramatically change the information that it puts out. But wait, there's more. Since you're in a conversation, so it's different than just searching. Some people think, oh, it's just a fancy search engine. It's really not, okay? So I use it for search and stuff, but the fact that you can go through and just follow up in plain English with a question of, that doesn't make sense. What about this? Can you expand on that section of the article you just wrote? Can you now break that down? Can you download this for me? You can just continue to ask additional information within that conversation is really a game changer for what you're trying to produce, right? Y'all with me on that? And then let me Here's a little bonus for you. Let me clean up. If that doesn't clean up the results you're getting already, and the weirdness that is ChatGPT, where it starts going, therefore thou art, is such a great, and you're like, oh, I can't even this. I would never say the word moreover. I want you all to jot that down, 16personalities.com. That is a free Myers-Briggs test, right? I know, personality test. Yeah, you can do it. I got faith. I believe in you. Take you about 15, 20 minutes. It's going to spit out what your personality is. I'm an ISTJ. In your prompt, well, you can actually teach your account. You can go to OpenAI. You can set up a free account. You can do a majority of what I'm talking about today with the free account. Okay, there is a $20 paid account. And there's Teams accounts, and then there's a $200 a month account. For the most part, you may want to play with a $20 account. Our agency, we use a $200 a month account, but we're doing a bunch of crazy stuff. Okay. You can go into your settings and you can add your personality to your account. So then you don't have to put in all your prompts. But for today, right now, as we're talking about doing some prompts, if you go in and you say, review this article and summarize it for me so that I can use it as a social media post or a blog post, or I can take it into a meeting or whatever, and write it in the personality of an ISTJ. You can use my if you don't want to go through the test, like my personality is obviously flawed, as you guys have seen over the last 15 minutes, but it'll produce better, it won't say moreover. It'll produce better results on your prompts. Does that help anyone out there? I definitely encourage you to try that. Is that helpful for those of you that may have tried AI in the past and stubbed your toe against it and thought this sucks, I'm never using this again? Thank you. All right, so that is the prompting part. Now we get into Q&A, and let's just pull it all together. I have no idea. Good morning. I'm speaking to a group here at the Ohio Stormwater Show. Are you ready to answer some questions or talk about stormwater with me?
Of course. I'm all set to dive into stormwater topics with you. What would you like to discuss or highlight for the audience?
Let's talk about stormwater pollution prevention plans. What would you need from me in order to help me create a stormwater pollution prevention plan for my construction project?
To create a solid stormwater pollution prevention plan, I'll need a few key details from you. First, the location and size of your construction site. Next, the timeline for the project. Then, details about the site's topography and soil type. Also, information on nearby water bodies or storm drains. Finally, any specific regulations or permit requirements you need to meet. With that info, we can outline best management practices and control measures.
Cool. If I had a template that our company uses along with a PDF drawing of the construction site, would that be of assistance?
Absolutely. That would be super helpful. The template gives us a structured starting point, and the PDF drawing will help identify critical areas for runoff control. We can integrate these into a comprehensive plan that meets your needs and regulatory requirements.
What do y'all think? Anybody got a question you would like to ask myself or my co-presenter?
I'm happy to tackle any questions the audience has. Feel free to bring them on.
No, this is actually just, you can do this on the normal version. You can download the app and you can have conversations with chat, and it actually stores it in your history. So we can actually go to the computer and we'll in fact, what I'll do after, if we got some Q&A, we got some Q&A. I know I'm standing in between you guys in the break. So let me say this, I will hang out if anybody has questions and we don't get to them. I will link this conversation that we have with chat to the presentation at the end. So like I said, if you go to that QR code, excuse me, it will take you to this presentation. So that's a good question. Anybody have a question? Anybody want to talk about their project or ask my way smarter co-presenter anything? Ma'am?
So my question is,
I'm here and ready to help with any.
Sorry.
you mentioned uploading your company template and a drawing. Are there any confidentiality concerns with putting your proprietary info in there?
Yeah, I'm a weirdo. You can go into the settings, right? And you can turn off its ability to access the internet. And OpenAI has a pretty strong privacy policy that I would encourage you to read through. I have a love-hate relationship with privacy. I think that we talk about it a lot and then we always default to convenience as human beings in general. But as a company, I understand that concern. But like I said, you can go in there and tell it not to be able to access the internet, even though you're on the internet in that chat. You can even move it into a project folder. So you can start to isolate some of the data. Yeah. And then if you even, for what this is worth, right? Because it is the internet, and I understand. So I know, but let's just ask him. Hey, that information, if I upload some information to you, where does that information go? And is it accessible by others on the internet, or how can I secure my data?
Your information stays private within our conversation. It's not accessible to others or shared on the internet. If you want extra security, avoid sharing sensitive personal details. I'm here to help, and your data is kept secure and confidential.
Well, if that's the case, then how are you expanding your knowledge base? What is OpenAI doing to assist you?
I don't actually retain personal data from our conversations to expand my knowledge about you or anyone else. My responses are generated based on patterns and information available up to my last update. OpenAI ensures that interactions remain confidential and secure. Your privacy and data security are top priorities, so anything you share here is not used to train future versions.
I hope that helped. I hope that helped. Yeah, I am almost out of time, but ma'am.
Yeah, just real quick, do you have any comments on like ethical concerns about like if you use content generated by ChatGPT or AI and like taking credit for that work that's not really your work in terms of plagiarism, or like if you ask it to generate a report or generate content and then you use that but it's really not your work product, like how do you cite that, or how do you take ethical considerations for that work product that was generated by a computer?
So she is asking about the ethical side of it, and that's a whole nother presentation. But if I can boil it down, I think that number one, if you use the deep research functionality now, which we do a lot, it gives us citing, it gives all the sources, and we put that in our articles, And then I think there's still a human factor. I would definitely encourage you, no matter what it spits out, it's going to be better. Now that you guys have a little bit of tips with the personality, asking better questions, ask me clarifying questions in your prompt. Now that you're going to get better results, though, it still needs human eyeballs. I would never copy and paste anything that I get and assume it's rock solid. In fact, we've in the past utilized other AIs before. I mean, ChatGPT, and this is months ago. Before ChatGPT's gotten even better, but I would take some of it and I would just take it into like a Perplexity. Before ChatGPT had deep research, and Perplexity was built for citing because it was built for colleges in the beginning. And I would put it in through Perplexity and I would say, hey, is this right? And and can you pull sources for me on this information that was written by ChatGPT? And so I'd have AI double check the other AI along with eyeballs. One last thing, and I did have a third co-presenter.
Thank you for attending this presentation. The presentation was created by my two co-presenters, Realtime and ChatGPT. I, however, am 100% AI generated. All three of us hope you got value from today's presentation, and we'll try using AI in the future. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
I did that in 20 minutes with a software called HeyGen with 4 minutes worth of video and audio teaching. Now with the podcast, if I would have had time, I could have put in 11 labs and it would have sounded exactly like me. And if I actually took that one and sped it up to like 1.2, it'd probably sound better. I know it sounds AI, but it was real quick. But anyways, here's the I also have this information. This is a bunch of AI that's being used out in our industry. Again, hit this QR code or see me afterwards. We'll get it sent to you, and you can check all that out, because I always encourage everybody to do their own research. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Stormwater World Podcast, and a big thank you to our sponsor, Bloxam & Company, home of the coconut fiber stormwater inlet filter. That is super easy to install and maintain. Make sure you go check them out. That's Bloxam & Company. You can check them out at bloxam.com. That's BLOCKSOM.com. And we'll see you on the next episode.